Okay, so this story goes back to February 1972, when I was 21 years old and a student at Newcastle University. And Newcastle University is in the centre of the city, it's not a campus. And so this was a Sunday and there weren't a lot of people around, and I was in the centre of the university because I was the editor of the student newspaper and I was going to work on the paper. And I was walking through the middle of the university that day, and sort of a camper van, Volkswagen sort of microbus thing, drew up, and somebody wound down the window and said, could you point us to the Student Union? And I said, well, Student Union's just over there, but I think it's closed at the moment and there's nobody about because it's a Sunday and this is a university in the centre of the town. People aren't around. I said, why do you want to know? And they said, well, we want to play a concert there this evening. So I thought this was weird, and I just looked in the back of the bus, and in the back of the bus I could see Paul McCartney and his wife Linda McCartney and Denny Lane and one or two other people I recognised. And I realised that this was the Wings tour that the Beatles had broken up not all that long before. And this was Paul McCartney's new band going on a tour to do their rehearsals before they recorded anything. So this was completely out of the blue, and of course it was a problem because there really wasn't anywhere to play where you could guarantee there would be a lot of students. Anyway, I thought about it for a little while and thought maybe the best thing to do would be to put them on in Havelock Hall, which was the hall of residence which I was living in, and where there were at least sort of 300 students or so. So I said, well, okay, I would see if I could arrange to do that. And they said, well, meanwhile they would go and see if they could find somewhere to stay. Actually this was the occasion in my life, before and since, when I said the stupidest thing I ever said. When they said, where could we stay? I said, well, you could stay at the Swallow Hotel in the middle of the centre of town, but it's a bit expensive. And there was a pause, and Paul McCartney said, money no object, which probably I would have been able to work out for myself. Anyway, they went away and we arranged for them to play that night, and word went round, and they were going to charge, I think it was 40 pence or 50 pence for this concert. Lots of people didn't really believe it was going to happen, but it was all arranged, and they did turn up at 7 or 8 o'clock, and they played an absolutely mind-blowing, fantastic concert. Just no Beatles songs, but just a whole load of rock and roll songs, Lucille. Everybody had a fantastic sort of sweaty party night, and I think probably everybody who was there will remember it for the rest of their lives. Really great night. Anyway, Wings, went on to be Wings, and all the rest is history. But just extraordinary that was the way that they started out, and it was a really good night for everybody concerned. 1972.